This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, Tim, do you know what time you joined the executive session?
Hang on. It would have been, Josh, what time did you respond back to me? I texted him at 4:42, and it was shortly thereafter that I got on. So it would have been, let's say, 450,
Okay. I didn't
450.
know you weren't present when I took roll, so, but I didn't know exactly when you joined in. Okay.
I couldn't find the invite.
All right. Do we have everybody? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing Arch. See, while we're waiting for Arch,
What was that?
What? Get me a soda with some ice in it. Check, check. Owen, come on. All right. You were writing a letter. No, Mama. You're ready to tell them to take me away. You want them to take me away. I'm writing a story for class, Mama. I don't want them to take you away. Yes, you do. Owen loves his mama. Owen loves his mama. Owen loves his mama. Owen loves his mama. Owen loves-
I know I'm not tall, but I didn't think I looked like Danny DeVito. I do love my mama.
Been hacking.
Oh. Come on, Arch. Come on.
What was that we just listened to?
so Aaron, well, I don't know. Aaron's
Eric, you
name,
want to fess up for all to hear what's going on?
Aaron's name every now and then gets pronounced slightly different than Aaron inside City Hall. And just as a joke, I told her I was going to start calling her Owen instead of Erwin, Aaron. And so the best thing I could think of was Danny DeVito and his mother and throw mama from the train.
Much better than some other names I've been called today.
Just today, huh?
Well, we did
Busy
have
day
one.
today, huh? Oh.
All right. Well, do we proceed without Arch or?
Mayor, I'd go ahead. I'm gonna text him now, see if he's having issues.
Okay, I got a text message. Let's see if this is from Arch. No, not from Arch. Okay. All right, so let me pull up my thing. All right, we reconvene from executive session into open session at 5:10 p.m. to act as deemed appropriate in city council's discretion regarding a consultation with legal counsel regarding a request to purchase real property located at 21201 Santa Carlo, the city.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we delay action on this request and that we have city staff compile a list of properties that would be more appropriate for this purpose and bring that back to council next meeting.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I believe that was Tim Collins on the second.
Correct.
All right, so I have the motion in a second. Any further discussion? All right. So I was going to try something because other city councils have been doing it. They've been going by hand raising instead of by position. Only problem is I can't see David or Tim. Arch is with us now.
You want to see me?
All right, so. All right,
Nope, there's Archer.
well, there's David. All I need is Tim. All I need is Tim. All right, there we go. All right, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the motion carries unanimous. All right, we will go into our regular council meeting, and we will start with citizen comments. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, council is prohibited from acting or discussing other than factual responses to specific questions, any items not on the agenda. I don't have anybody signed up, but is there anybody in the audience? Who do I have? Paul and Darcy, I believe are the only two. Either one of y'all have comments at this time?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right, we will move on. Call to order. Call of roll. Sandra, please note we have everybody present except for Don Bartholow. Action item number 3, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution number 20-1844, a resolution authorizing the submission application for an acceptance of the payment of funds for the Federal Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act grant Congress approved for disbursement to the state and local governments, and authorizing the city manager to execute the documents and take actions to facilitate such acceptance. All right. Has everybody had the opportunity or taken the opportunity to read through the CARES Act? The interlocal agreement, I should say, not necessarily the CARES Act. All right, so we're at the point.
I have read it.
We're at the point, we're at a take it or leave it situation. Myself and 20 other smaller city mayors went round and around for about a month with the county commissioners and the county judge with Travis County to try and negotiate the funds that are, I would say, I'm going to use the word due to the smaller cities. Just so you'll know, counties that were under 500,000 in population got funding directly from the state
Over 500.
at $55 per person, based on 2019 populations. Those counties like Travis that have over 500,000, the funds were given to the county, and then it's up to the county to disperse it to the small cities. Travis County was the last remaining holdout of all 254 counties in the state. The small cities had not received any funding from Travis County. So over the last month or so, 6 weeks, we've been discussing with them how we could get our portion of the $61 million that Travis County received from the federal government. They finally put an interlocal agreement together and have proposed it to us. And we, over the last 2 weeks, would send back, counter presentations of things that we thought should be included. But the county did not agree with us, and they stuck to their guns, and they've presented this interlocal agreement. And now we're at the position, do we want to accept their interlocal agreement or not? What it means to us is $391,000, little over $391,000. If we accept the interlocal agreement, then it is up to us as council and staff to present the county with plans on how this money will be spent. It can't be in duplication to any money that they are offering via their Thrive Texas program, which is their business grant program, and their HHS, Health and Human Services grant program, which is supposed to assist with rent and utilities. So we've got to come up with some kind of plan that the county will approve to try and assist our businesses and residents and stimulate economic activity within the city. There's no guarantee that they'll approve it. But if we choose not to sign the interlocal agreement, we know we're not going to get any funding. So I know our position between Josh and I have been at this point to agree to the interlocal agreement and then just bombard them with as many ideas and plans that we can come up with, or that the other 20 mayors come up with in their cities, and see what we can get approved and see if we can get funding, you know, within our city limits. So that's kind of where we're at. You know, going forward from here, I'm kind of keeping my finger on, you know, the actions going on with Travis County, their business grant program and their HHS program. It may come to a point that they have difficulty putting out or spending all $1 million that they have, and they may have to loosen the restrictions on these programs. And come July, August, September, maybe they'll be more open to some plans and programs, and we'll be able to get our $391,000. So again, we're at a take it or leave it point in time. And questions, thoughts?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Is there any, you just take it or leave it, but is there any way to appeal that amount to a higher authority, or is it's totally up to them to distribute it? And that's it.
Right now, it's broken down into two separate pots, a 20% upfront and an 80% on the back end. The 20% is for funds that we have already spent, but it's not across the board. We have to submit our expenses to them, and then they decide whether or not that's an acceptable expense and give us that 20%. Beyond that, we have to submit any future programs in advance, and then they approve it. And then once they approve it, any money we spent, we can submit receipts for reimbursement. Now, can we renegotiate? I don't see why we can't, but I mean, legally, we can always readdress the interlocal agreement. So, I mean, I'm thinking we keep submitting plans and programs that we come up with, and the ones that are shared to us from other cities. And if we can't meet that $391,000, you know, we keep trying. If we don't spend it, we don't spend it. But
Well, let's take it. We can make this a quick meeting. Well, we can make it a quick meeting, can't we? We'll take it.
If we do find out that they're approving our programs and we're spending our money, and they get to where they're not able to spend their money, maybe they'll even offer us a little bit more, because they actually are funding us based on 2018 population estimates, even though they received money based on 2019 population estimates. So we're actually getting shorted about $24,000 right off the bat, just in their interlocal agreement. So my plan is to continue working through our U.S. representative, Roger Williams' office at the federal level, and our local representative and the governor's office to continue trying to put some pressure on Travis County to release these funds, you know, without so many restrictions and stuff on them. So,
Okay.
Okay.
anybody else? Questions?
Yes, I have a
Take the
question.
cash and run.
I don't know which one that was. I saw Dave's hand
Yeah,
go up.
I don't see us turning down the $391,000. And my question is, what are the other mayors that you've been working with? What are they doing for their cities? Are they continuing to fight for additional money, or are they accepting the money that's being offered?
So it runs the gamut across the board. Your larger cities like Pflugerville, Lakeway, Bee Cave, Manor, and Austin are all pursuing the monies because they believe they have enough businesses that have been affected, and they believe that they can spend the money and that they have that need for the money. You have your smaller cities like Weberville, Freedmore, the ones that only have a couple of hundred people. They're only going to get a few $1,000s. And for them, they're not sure because they only have a staff of, you know, like a mayor and 2 or 3 aldermen, and they don't have city staff, and they're not sure that it's worth the effort to try and come up with programs and plans and argue with the county over this money. So some of your smaller cities, they're just going to say, forget it, and allow the county to take care of their areas. So, you know, it just depends on each city.
Okay.
Yes, Arch.
Mayor, I was looking at the interlocal agreement, and right before the recitals, the thing says, this agreement is entered into by the following parties: the County of Travis, a corporation, a corporate and political subdivision of Texas County, and the City of Lago Vista, a Class A general law municipality located wholly or partly in Travis County. This is a question actually for Aaron. We are not a Class A general law city. We are a chartered city.
Mhm.
And so does that make any difference in this agreement?
I sent a list of corrections to Barbara Wilson for them to make. So, you know, they know that we're not, they did the same thing with several other cities. If you'll notice in the draft that they sent us, they didn't even have our address correct. So it was a bit of, I guess, sloppy work on their part. The county has full authority to do with the money as they please. They don't have to offer it to us. So we are in a bit of a take it or leave it kind of situation. You know, I had quite a few comments and edits, and even tried to give a little pushback in the draft that I provided back to Barbara, in that, you know, we shouldn't have to waive any rights, because basically we weren't given full, you know, we didn't have the full opportunity to truly negotiate the terms of this agreement. It was given to us and with a take it or leave it not just attitude, but words on paper. We have it in writing in more than one email. It was expressed in their Travis County Commissioners meeting. So, you know, I tried to make some edits to the agreement itself. I don't know that those things, I think the corrections will be accepted, but I don't know that they're going to accept any other changes to the document.
So the fact that we are a home rule city, like Austin is a home rule city, has no bearing on this.
It's population based only. If you're over 500,000 as far as population, then you got money directly. If you're under 500,000, then all the money went to the county, and the county had authority whether or not they wanted to divvy it up to the cities or not.
Okay, I just wanted to know if that little bit mattered. That's
Yeah.
really about it.
So
Thank
when the final interlocal edited version comes back, there will be 21 separate interlocal agreements. This one that you're viewing is one that they just put out for everybody. So they didn't specify, you know, which cities were home rule and which ones were general law. But now they're going back and creating 21 separate ILAs that they will enter in with each city independently. So it should be corrected. The one that we finally get addressed specifically to Lago Vista, hopefully we'll have our correct address and we'll address this appropriately. If not, we'll send it back and say, hey, you know, we can't sign it yet. But today we just need a decision on whether council wants to sign the agreement once it is finalized.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No.
All right, Paul, Darcy, Jackie. Darcy has a question. I see Darcy's hand.
Hi. Hey, what are the repercussions? Like if you say, yeah, we'll take this money on your terms, and then let's say you do something and it doesn't fall under their terms or when they're giving it to you, is this like a payback loan? One of those nice PPP loans, correct? So like if you don't fall in line to what the US government or Texas is saying, they're going to want all that money back. Are they putting interest on it?
Well, we won't get the money. So we have to submit our plan first, and then they approve the plan. If they approve the plan, then we can go out and spend the money and then put in our receipts for reimbursement. So we won't spend any money on a plan that hasn't been approved because one, we wouldn't get that money reimbursed. B, if we did get money reimbursed, but yet we spend it on something else, then we would be liable to pay it back. But, you know, we're not going to, you know, the stipulations make it really difficult for us to spend it on anything that's not authorized because we're getting it reimbursed.
Right. And then, but then you still have to pay someone in the city to keep up with all this stuff and to file it and make sure that you're okay on it, correct?
So the guidelines allow 10% to use for administrative purposes. For your cities that don't have a full staff, that may be an issue. For a city like us that has a paid staff in place already, we will probably continue, we'll do all of our accounting and bookkeeping in-house, and it won't really produce you know, an
Bill?
outside, it shouldn't include an outside expense, but I don't know, we'll see. I'll give you an example. One of the programs that I have, well, this isn't my idea. Some cities have already done this program, and some are trying to get it approved through the CARES Act. is they have come up with gift cards. And these gift cards roughly have about a $50 value to them. And the citizens can come to the city hall, get these gift cards, and then they can use these gift cards at businesses within the city limits, you know, the ones that are signed up for the program to accept these gift cards. Now the citizens can go use that gift card, and then that business can come back and get reimbursed through the city. Okay. One, I don't know if that program would be approved just yet, because some other cities have submitted that program. B, the gift cards. If I had to go out and get an outside company to produce these gift cards, you know, kind of like the things that the Booster Club does for your schools and stuff like that. If I had to go out and hire somebody to produce, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000, whatever money we said, if I have to get 4,000, 5,000 gift cards printed, you know, that would be an expense to the city right there. And I would have to include that as part of that, you know, 10% that we're allowed to use for administrative purposes. So it is possible that we would have to spend funds, but it just depends on our programs, and, you know, we'll see.
Thanks.
Maybe we could get somebody to donate 4,000 gift cards, but, you know, I don't know.
I think you'll probably run into that they're going to cost you about $3 a piece to get those produced. So, yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Thank you.
Yep. Paul, I think I saw your hand go up as well.
Yes, sir. Apologize, kind of multitasking here. On page 58 of the packet, it gives all the categories and everything. Have you guys figured out, has anybody kind of done any kind of an allocation table to see if, like, how would you allocate 361,000 based on these approved, these qualified expenses?
Yes, we have. We have already submitted that to the county. I don't know if we have that included in the packet at this time, though.
You're muted, Josh.
Josh said no.
Muted.
We don't have it, Mayor.
But y'all have, but I guess, so I understand you to say that, yes, y'all have looked through this and decided, yeah, we can spend it, and if we got it, this is probably how we would spend it on each of these categories, the ones that we want to do. Awesome. With regards to the possibly giving, you spoke about the cards just now, maybe like gift cards for people to use for qualified businesses in our community. I would just submit that y'all should that maybe just like there has to be certain qualifications for an individual to apply for a loan, you can't be a felon, things like that. Maybe there should be some type of criteria for local businesses, such as you're not past due on turning over sales tax you've collected, or some type of criteria. Just a thought. If you do end up getting the gift cards, I've got a friend that owns one of those companies that buys up all the gift cards, and then he buys them at a discount, and then he sells them online. And he's been at it for 20 years. He's done really well with that. If you go down that road, let me know, and I can reach out to him. Maybe he's got some connections.
Okay. Yeah, right now that is not included in the plans and programs that we put forth to the county at this time. But again, I don't know what the county's going to approve and what they're not going to approve. So this, you know, this is just another, you know, brainstorming thing idea. I think Cedar Park did gift cards, but they're a they have an economic development corporation. They have an EDC. And so they were able to provide these gift cards and stuff out of their own pocket through their EDC for some businesses. So I've seen that program out there. The only difference is us, Lakeway, Bee Cave, some of us that are considering, I think Bee Caves has an EDC. I don't know about Lakeway. But some of us that don't have economic development corporations in place, you know, we don't have those funds available. So we're trying to see if we can use these CARES Act funds for that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how you guys come up with an expense plan for that. But suffice it to say, I think everybody in the city would like to see you guys, our representatives, vote to pursue this money.
Yeah. The CARES Act does say that you can use it for economic development. They just don't really, they don't tell us what our parameters are on what qualifies as economic development. So
well, that's what we have Owen for. I mean, Aaron.
Yeah. See what I started? So basically, we have a dartboard and we're throwing darts at it, and whatever it hits, then we submit it to the county, and they're going to send it back and tell us yay or nay.
I mean, you guys, there's a lot of great stuff on here that you guys can do. I think you have a lot of leeway in these expenses. I mean, these themselves are pretty vague. I mean, they're very general. They don't seem to restrict you within the category. I mean, there's even funding here that could be used to help. So we've got an email came out from Darren Webb today talking about the option for parents to either have their children go to school or they can remote school. And some of the funding in this can be used to help cover a lot of those costs for people. So anyway.
Yeah, well, again, and that's where the problem comes in, because the county has set up these programs and they tell us that, you know, because they have these programs in place, we can't duplicate it. So if the school district is going to the county to get money, we can't use money to school district. So
you guys will get all that hashed out in due course of time. Get that money.
All right.
Are we ready to take action, Mr. Mayor?
I suppose.
All right, I'd like to make a motion. What? I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 201844, an application for submission of application for the CARES Act and all the verbiage that goes with it.
I second it.
All right, I have the motion from Tim and the second from David. Any further questions, comments? All right, go ahead. Let me see, do I have everybody? Arch, I don't have you on screen just yet, but all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, all those opposed, nay? Hearing none, ILA has been agreed upon unanimously. Thank you very much. And let's see, is there anything else on the agenda? None.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but my PDF is not responding properly. All right. All right. Having nothing else, I will call this meeting adjourned at 5:40 p.m.
That's
Thank you all very much.